Do you need me up here more? I can just
No.
Okay.
Okay.
You're awesome.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. How are we? Excited. Some of us are not excited. Some of us have no idea why we're here. Well, welcome to the guest event and graduation for the Basic Seminar in April 2015. Congratulations for being here. Congratulations for the new graduates for being here. Tonight's going to be a really fun night. My name is Carson Johns, and I'm the area director for PSI Seminars, which means I'm in charge of putting together the Basic Seminar and handling most of the classes that PSI Seminars hosts in San Francisco. I've been doing this for about 12 years. Oftentimes, I'll be doing this presentation, but we have a really fortunate night in that the instructor for our class last weekend is coming back to do the presentation today. We are streaming live to, I don't know, probably like 14 different states is so far what I've heard. Hopefully that works well. We'll see how technology is. But I don't want to take too much time up here other than just to welcome you, make sure everyone's got a nice comfy seat, and then introduce our instructor for the evening. This is a gentleman who did my basic seminar in 1998, so I've known him for quite a long time. He's an incredible gentleman, incredible guy, father, husband, and a remarkable instructor, as most of you saw this weekend here in the basic seminar, and that is Mr. Tim O'Kelley.
How are you?
Great.
How
are you?
Oh, good. This is awesome. Hello, America. I do want to take a moment because I'm very rarely going to look at you just because when I move my hand like that, it still hasn't moved there. It did just now. So it's got like a 5-second delay, and it's just really weird to look at that way. So I just wanted to thank all of you that have assembled in people's homes. We had quite a few people that were in this course that flew in from all parts of the country to take the class, and then they have flown back, and then they're having many of these gatherings at their homes. And so I want to acknowledge you for taking a risk, trusting the person who asked you, coming into their homes, or at least just getting on the computer to check out this opportunity. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge you and thank you very much. And you'll have an opportunity, even if it's online, you'll have an opportunity to make yourself available to getting a seat in the class. So the people here tonight, I want to say thank you of getting out here tonight, because I know that you have spent time away from your family. You have been driving, you maybe have been at work and you hadn't been home yet, and you could have been partying tonight, you could have been playing tonight, you could have been working tonight, you could have been making money tonight, you could have been playing with your kids tonight, you could have done a lot of other things, and you chose to be here tonight. And I don't want to go one more breath without saying really thank you. And it's not so much thank you from me, it's the person who asked you to come tonight. When I came to my very first event in 1988, I had 9 people with me, and it was important to me, those 9 people that I brought. I wanted the night to be perfect. I wanted it to be great. I wanted it to be informative so that these people would attend the course that I just took that I found to be fascinating. And I invited 27 people, and 9 came. And I was disappointed by some of those people that just didn't show, and 2 minutes before saying, oh, I'm not going to make it. And for you to be here tonight, I know it's important to the person who asked you. And so if we would, let's give a big round of everybody who's here tonight, please. All right, what I want to do is I want to give you a little bit of the flow tonight, just so that you know where we're at. We're going to do, up front, we're going to acknowledge some of the people that were in this class. They're going to come up to the stage. I'll just spend a couple of minutes with them, giving them a little gift from PSI Seminars, giving them a challenge, and then a recommendation, and then they'll have a seat. And then we're going to go into just a description of the basic course, this experience called the basic that someone has asked you to come and listen to. And we'll have a couple of people, a couple of the graduates, anywhere from 31 years ago all the way to now. There's going to be a couple of them come up to the front. I'll just ask a simple few questions, and they're going to answer them. So, and then at the end, we will give you an opportunity, if this is what you want to do, to get yourself a seat into the next course. So, what I want to start with is PSI Seminars. I don't know if you know much about PSI Seminars. I don't know about the person who asked you to come tonight. So let me fill you in a little bit about this company, PSI Seminars. The longest running seminar company in the United States, going into our 41st year of doing these classes. 41 years is a long time for a company, and to do a course that we do that has been spread around many different places in this world. PSI Seminars has many different courses. And I want to start out, I just want to give you the curriculum real quick. One of the first courses that we have is from age 5 to 12 years old. That is the basic for kids. My daughter started taking classes at 5 years old. I raised my daughter by myself. And her mother and my wife, when my daughter was 2, decided to leave the country and travel around the world with another man. Couldn't be a wife, couldn't be a mother. She left. And here I am with this daughter that I didn't know how to raise. And it was amazing when things come at us in the right times. And so my daughter was able to take these courses at 5 years old. But she had a rough start. I'll just say that she had a rough start in life. And just recently, actually 2 years ago now, she graduated top honors at UCLA. And I'd like to take all the credit. To be honest, I would. Yet I know it's not. And I watched her path. I watched her growth. She came and did the kids class in February. I'll never forget that. She was 5 years old. And what do you expect a 5-year-old to get out of this work? You know, I even asked the instructor, I said, what do you expect for a 5-year-old? And he looked at me and he was really, really cool. He goes, I would like them to say that they would like to come back, period. And I went, okay. I was hoping for maybe a little bit more than that. But after the class, my daughter comes up to me and she goes, Daddy, I want to go to another one. I was like, well, I did that well. And then I realized how important that is, not just going to one class, but she obviously has gone through all the courses. She's been raised in this work. And so that's a children's class. We have a teen class for teenagers, specifically just for teenagers. And it's the curriculum is addressed just for teenagers, what all teenagers go through. And that's done up at our advanced facilities up in about 3 hours north of here. Okay, and so then we have the basic course, which is what I'm going to talk about tonight, which is really the first class for the adults. Okay, that is anywhere from, you can take it at 13 years old if both parents have been to the basic and want their children to go. They can go at 13 years old. If not, it's 18 years old, all the way up until the oldest one I know I've ever done a class for is 92 years old. And it was a woman who came to Las Vegas because she was looking to open a new business. She said she just needed a little kick in the pants to get going. 92 years old. I was telling the class this weekend, there was another guy in class, 84 years old, and I remember I was walking through the class and he told his wife, he goes, honey, how you can love me is to help me take more risks in my life. 84 years old. So there is no age, really specifics to this class. And so once you do the basic course, there's a class that you can take after the basic course, which is called our Life Success course, which is 7 days up at the ranch. That's our advanced class, about 3 hours north of here. High Valley Ranch is where we do our advanced courses. That's called the Life Success course. And then after that, you can take a class, depending on if you're male or female. We have the Men's Leadership Seminar, 9 days, and the Women's Leadership Seminar, 9 days. And these are the advanced courses. People take the basic course in 10 of our main cities. We have 10 cities across the 2 countries in North America that actually have centers there, and they do the classes there. Those are our 10 centers. And then we do classes anywhere from Hawaii all the way to New York, a lot of the different states, a lot of different cities that we might go in and do 1 or 2 basics there. So we're pretty much around the United States and Canada, the 3 main areas of Canada. So the courses of PSI Seminars, if you look at them from a perspective of taking a look at all of them, you know, is there a common theme with all of them? Why do courses? Why spend money, take time to educate ourselves? And that's really what I want to talk about tonight. Why do, obviously don't have time to talk about all of them, why do what's called the basic class? Why is it that PSI Seminars has grown for 41 years, not because of a marketing company, not because of a very slick corporate marketing company that advertises on TV, advertises on computers, advertises to people that we don't know. It's not how it works. PSI Seminars has grown for 41 years and grown consistently just by the people who have done the class. So the people that have asked you to be here tonight and asked you to check this out, they do not get anything if you go to the class. They don't get paid for it. It's not multi-level. I have nothing against multi-level, but sometimes people come in and think, well, it must be because the person who's asking me to go to this has been asking me for a year over and over. They got to get something out of it, and they don't. All the people that I've had for all these years, I've never gotten anything by having somebody do the class. And to be honest, I have paid for a share of them. And I don't get anything back, but I do get a whole lot back. It's just not money. It's not Tupperware. It's not T-shirts. It's not discounts to advanced classes. And that's how PSI Seminars has grown so big. All those 10 centers that we have is not because of a corporate structure that builds cities. It's because of one student took a class in LA and said, you know what, I flew from Hawaii and I'm going to keep doing that, come back to the class, and then finally just went, I don't want to fly that much. What have I got to do to have a center in Hawaii? And that's how Hawaii started. And then Phoenix started, then Las Vegas, then Denver. It's all by people just like you and I who love this. So there's something to it. It does work. It's very effective. I will say this is challenging, but what I hope to do tonight is to let you know simply what is the value. Why get out and take a course versus reading books versus doing something online? Why come out? What's the value? What's the benefit? So that you see that tonight matched up with the recommendation that somebody has given you that is here with you tonight. And a combination of that, hopefully you register for the class and get yourself in the next basic course is really what the purpose of tonight is. So what I want to start with is a group of people, and I got to bring them up front. They deserve it. They were here in this room all weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they are finishing up tonight, and as of in a few minutes, they will be official graduates of the basic course, and there are some things that come with that. One of those is, once you have finished the basic course, which will be tonight for this group, you can come back to any basic course, no matter where we do it, all over the country, here, and you will never pay for it again. It's a class that you can use over and over and over. How many people here of the graduates have actually used the re-audit privilege? Okay, it's powerful. I would even suggest the second time you might get more out of it than you did the first time. Was any of all the students that are here in this room and out there, did anybody here ever, were you resistant when you came to the basic course? Oh, only those hands. I doubt it. I think most people are because I've never done it before. You know, what is this? I don't know what this is. And maybe I didn't even go to an event. Someone asked me to do it, right? I didn't know what it was. And so I sat there and was pretty resistant, as most people are usually at the beginning, okay? So what I want to do is I'm going to bring this group up. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge two other groups that are not going to come up front, but I want to give them a huge round of applause because we're going to in a moment for the class. So one of the groups of people that I want to acknowledge before we bring the class up are what we call the graduates. These are people that have taken the classes anywhere from 41 years ago to not this class, but any class previous to this one, okay? Because this class gets to come up front in just a moment. So if you are a graduate of PSI Seminars, please stand. Everybody give them a big round of applause, please. Graduates, please stand. Stay standing, stay standing. Okay, let me address this. Hang on, guys. I know we have someone from 31 years ago here tonight, and you're going to hear from her in just a moment, but did anybody here do the class longer than 31 years ago? No, you hold the record for tonight. Okay, all right, very good. And I just want to say this, guys, thank you for coming out tonight. And really, you are why we get to do classes. The graduates are the one reason we get to do classes. I want to thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you for bringing people. So please give them another round of applause. Another group of people are really what tonight's about, and those are the guests. Those are the people that really don't have any idea what this is. They might have been asked a couple of days ago, and it sounded like a really great idea a couple of days ago. And then today, when you woke up and you thought about your day, you're like, what am I going to do? I said I was going to go to that event tonight, didn't I? Okay, what can I come up with? What reason? Oh no, they said they were going to come pick me up. Now you know why they said come pick you up, right? So I know you could have come up with 100 excuses for not being here tonight, and you showed up. So for all of the other people who are not standing, I want you to put your hands together really loud for the guests that are here tonight. So guests, all right. Okay, so I want to bring up the last group of people. That is the people that are finishing up the class tonight, and of course, a lot of them are at home. And so, what I have you do is to bring the fact if you don't happen to have it with you, you don't have to have it come up here. But if you do have it, to bring it up, and I'm going to ask that you can leave all your stuff there. Okay, so this is the official graduation part. So pretend you've what's a big college around here? The closest one. Is it Berkeley? Stanford, San Francisco State, all those. Okay, so you're out in the hot sun. You've been out. You've been waiting for your person to be called. It's now time. Their name is just going to be called, and they're going to walk across the stage, and you get to stand up and hoop and holler for the people that you know. So in other words, if you don't mind, give these people a huge round of applause. But can I have the class that's graduating tonight up to the stage, please? Give them How are you guys?
Great.
Very good. Last couple of days, how has it been since the class? Last couple of days, has anybody here had what we call a curveball thrown at you, meaning something happened in your life that you didn't expect that was not positive? Anybody here have something happen? Only, okay, because the truth is it will happen. That is our life. And one of the ways that you can gauge how much work you got done is how did you handle it? Because as you know, it's not about changing the world. It's about being the most effective that we can be, even in those times that we weren't looking for that could be viewed as negative. To manage those maybe a little bit better. So if you did handle it different, acknowledge yourself. And for those of you, it will happen soon. So just know that. So what I'd like to do right now is I'd like you to open up your envelope, please, so there's no mystery of what's in the envelope. There might be a couple of pieces of paper, but definitely what I want you to do is to bring out the diploma, if you will. I'd like to just read what it says on there, if you don't mind. What it says is, PSI Seminars does hereby certify that, their name is on there, has successfully completed the PSI Basic Seminar and is now entitled to all appurtenant rights and privileges, signed by the instructor of the course, myself on this situation, and Jane C. Wilhite, co-founder of PSI Seminars, and dated today's date. Okay, so just real quick, a reminder to you guys, once you have done this course, you can now come back. I would really, really recommend that you come back to the next course. If you like to staff, you can staff now, okay? If you choose not to staff to be there the whole time, I really recommend, as a discipline, coming back even just for a little bit. I made the decision when I came back to my event and I heard the opportunity. I knew about it, but I was open to it, I guess, on Wednesday night. And I heard this, that it's not just going to a class one time. It's about really learning it. And that does take time. And you bought it. That's why it's complimentary for you. It does take time to learn it, to actually walk it versus just know it. So that's why you can come back anytime. And I made that commitment on Wednesday night in October that I would be at every class for the next year. And I staffed half of them, and then I re-audited parts of the other ones. So I really, really recommend it because, as you well know, did you get everything that was there in the 3 days? No. Let me ask you this. How many of you were resistant when you came in? Don't raise your hand too fast, because you might get silly. How many of you were resistant? Okay, so I want to just make sure that that's known. if you are a little resistant tonight, don't let that keep you from going, because it's okay to come resistant, is it not? We'll talk about that. It's okay to be, because I think we are resistant to things we haven't done before. So a challenge that I have for you is that you put that up someplace soon. Hopefully don't leave it in an envelope in a box. Put it up on a wall with all the other accolades or all your other awards, because at minimum, it is a great trigger device that you'll look at it and you'll remember, something will click, you'll think of something that's going to be positive, maybe a goal, maybe to come back and get some work done, maybe call somebody, check in. There's a lot of different things it can do. And also, if anybody ever comes up to you and goes, you know what gives you the right to be so happy? What gives you the right to handle things the way that you do? You can go, hey, come here, I'll show you. And you walk in and then you just point to it and show them. That does right there. Because you paid money for it, and did you take the time to get it done? Yes, you deserve it, so make sure you do. I hope you honor that, and I hope you do put it up, okay? So we don't have time tonight for everybody to share, because we'd be here for hours, okay? So I would like to ask a couple of you, if you were to put it in literally a couple of words, which how can you do a 3-day course like this in a couple of words? But as far as the greatest value for you so far, I mean, we're going to hear from people that just finished, and then we're going to hear from some people that have been spattered throughout 30-some years of doing this work. So I know it's a little tricky. You just got out. What's the value? But if you could put it in a couple of words. Anybody, call it out. Yes. Mind-blowing. Yeah.
Electrifying.
What was that one?
Electrifying.
Electrifying. I like
Yes,
that one.
power.
Fun.
Fun.
What was that one? A journey back to yourself. Well said. And I just have to say, stunning. Beautiful. Okay, somebody else.
Alive.
Alive. Nice. Nice word.
Grounding.
Grounding. Got it. Well, yes. Liberating. Okay. Over here, somebody.
Eye-opening.
Eye-opening. Got it. Okay.
Freedom.
Freedom. Okay. Anybody else? I don't want to cut you off. No? Life-changing. Yeah.
Positive.
Yeah. Positive. Yeah. Good.
Loving.
What was that one? Loving? Yes. 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 Anybody else? Okay. So again, what I do want to recommend is that you stay involved in it. Don't just come in and then leave. Keep it a part of you, because I think what you got to see this weekend is there's a big difference between knowing something and then actually walking it. If we just know something, nothing changes, except we know a little bit more now. But nothing will change in our steps, in our relationships with our children, our family, our business, until it becomes a part of us. And so that takes practice. That does take time. That's why you have that reality privilege, and I really recommend come back, especially on Saturday night. You know, come back in just for a couple hours, okay, and be a part of the class. So I want to say thank you, guys. I'll be out of here tomorrow, and then don't know when I'll be back in the Bay. But I just want to say, when I left, and the couple of days that I have spent at home with my family, with my son, just all that we got done and the energy that I had, I do want to say thank you, because a better man went home because of you guys, and I want to say thank you for that. So I'm going to ask now, as they become official graduates of the basic course, if once I say it, if you could please give them a big round of applause for all that they put into their life this weekend, okay? So as of now, you are official graduates of the PSI Basic Seminar. Come on down, guys. Okay, come on. Well, obviously, they'll stand as long as you clap. Okay, now, here we go. Let me tell you a little bit about how my journey started, so that you can understand why I'm standing here right now. And just like I said, that everybody who's ever taken this class was always asked by someone. And one day in 1988, I was working for a company called the Red Onion Corporation in Southern California. My job was a beverage director. My job really was to travel to 18 Red Onion restaurants and drink margaritas to make sure that they were all made the same and top quality. So that was really my job. And one day my boss asked me to come to a course. I have not taken courses up till that point. I'm in my late 20s. I live in Huntington Beach. I'm single. I'm dating all the time. I've got more money in my pocket than I've ever had. I did not have all these wrinkles going on. Life was good. And so he asked me to take this course, and I thought it was going to be on wines or, you know, how they make wine, how they make tequila and all this, because I had taken a lot of those. And I remember Ron Newman looking at me and saying, no, it's not any of that. It's a class where you just get to work with you. And I remember listening to that going, that makes no sense at all. And I said, well, tell me about it. He said, no, just trust me. And have you ever had anybody ask you lately to trust me? It's kind of a weird thing when someone says that, because you kind of have to look in your mind and go, do what? And you know how your mind works really fast. Well, I'm thinking about it real quick, and I have no reason not to trust the man. I love the man. He's a great employer. I've seen how he is with his family. I've seen how he is in business. Obviously, I've been to his house many times. I've catered and was the beverage director of parties at his house. He's got a very large house in Hermosa Beach on the Strand. And there's nothing. And I said yes. And I was in the class that next weekend. And of course, I have never taken a course like this. I didn't know that they existed in the late 80s. I did my schooling in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Midwest, and then went to the University of Oklahoma for my college, and then came out to Southern California to live with a friend of mine. And so never have done it. I've made fun of this work before. You know, people read books about, you know, the sky's the limit and all this. And we used to make fun of it. We're very sarcastic about this in the Midwest. Well, then I'm in California and I'm taking this class now, and I'm like, this is what we used to make fun of. You know? And so I went through it. Back then it was a Thursday night, Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And obviously over the years we've just put Thursday and Friday together. And so when I say, you know, the third day, we still had one more. It was Saturday night of my very first class. I make the decision to change careers. And I did not come to the class to change careers at all. I was happy in my career, doing well. Like I said, life was good. And I made a decision in 3 days to change careers. And now how do you go back to the man who asked you to take the class and say, I love this class. This is one of the greatest gifts I've ever received. I love this work. I love, even though I was nervous at first looking at myself, I love learning about myself. I've never done that before. In all the Catholic schools, in all the university, I never learned about me. I learned about theories. I learned about a lot in college, but never about why my relationships never worked the way I wanted them to. Why, even though I was making more money than I've ever made before, I didn't have any. You may relate to that. Why I was sick, and sick 4 times a year, pretty much at the same time of the year, struggling with health. So when those answers happened, I was like, this is the best. Where has this been all my life? And so now how do you tell that to the man who asked you to take it that you resigned? And I thought, well, let me just do it when I learned the class. Went up to him and said, Ron, this is the greatest thing I've ever received. It's an incredible addition to all of my education, and I've made a big decision in the course, and that is to resign. And he looked at me, and a big smile came on his face and said, good for you. He goes, that's one of the reasons I asked you to go. Could that not be taken, you know? And then he told me about it. He said he owned a camera shop in Huntington Beach. No, I'm sorry, Newport Beach. He owned a camera shop, and he loved the restaurant business, but he owned a camera shop. But he loved the restaurant business, but he owned a camera shop. He wanted to own the restaurant business, but he owned a camera shop. And that's when his buddy, who owned Bobby McGee's restaurant, you know, Bobby Sikora, asked him to take the class. So Ron takes the class, owning a camera shop in Newport Beach, and then comes out and does the classes and shuts down the camera shop and opens the very first Red Onion, and then 18 months later, and now owns Sharky's Cantina. He owns all them, and just incredible. And so that's how, you know, he said that's where I was. And I have a feeling that's where you were. You've been in this restaurant business since you're 14 years old. And I just want to make sure that it's really what you wanted to do. And if it was what was maybe the catapult to have you go do something else, then I got to say, I got to be a part of that, and he was. And I'm very, very thankful for it because I know I'd still be in the restaurant business. I know I would. Even though I often thought, what am I going to do when I get older? Am I really going to drink margaritas for the rest of my life? And I always thought, no, but things will change later. Does anybody know that conversation? It'll change later. But I never did anything with it. I didn't even know what else to do. You know, I'm in communications major. You know, what do I do with communications? Well, yeah, I'm talking in the restaurant business, so I'm using that. You know? But I thought, am I really going to do this? And it was the exact thing I needed for me to make a big change in my life. Now, that's in business, but then another issue that I never even thought I would address, and no one addressed it for me, I just started looking at the class in an environment that I've never done before, and started taking a look at the relationship with my father. My father left when I was 4 years old. I didn't care about it. If he died today, it doesn't matter. I don't have a father. I was raised not to like my father by my mother. I've been in that situation before, but he's a mean person. He's a bad person. You don't want to meet him. He's not a good man. And so I was raised with this, and so I didn't care. So after a 4-day class, I'm on the phone Sunday night, payphone. That's how long it's been since I did the class. Payphone, finding my father because of an exercise I did on Sunday. I was like, I've got to find this man. I don't know where he is, but I'm going to start a relationship with him. I never would have done that. And I finally found him, and he wasn't home, but the nurse was home. And they said that they had just taken him to the hospital to pass away. They wanted him to die with some dignity, so they were basically just going to morphine to death because he was in so much pain. This is on Sunday night after I get out of the class. I'm all excited. We're going to start something new, Dad. Here we go. And the man is dying. So I walked back into class, rattled, and you know, there was 150 people. And a couple of people who were in my group came up to me and goes, how'd it go? And I went, good. So I gave him the short rundown. One of the men looked at me and he said, what are you going to do? And I said, I did it. He said, you did it. You did what? I said, yeah, I did it. He said, what? I go, when I hung up, I got down on my knees and I said a prayer for my father. But he dies with some happens. And he goes, really? And I said, yeah. He goes, that's what you did. I said, yeah. He's like, is your father alive right now? I said, yeah, but is your father alive right now? Yes, but let me tell you, they don't think, is your father alive right now? He wouldn't listen to anything else. 65-year-old man. Couldn't care less about me. And he goes, go find your father right now. If your father's alive, go find him. You get on a plane. You see, I didn't have the mentality like that. Because one, I couldn't even afford this class. Ron had to pay for the class. So the thought of me even getting on a plane and traveling and taking off that work, I did not play that way. So I never even entertained that idea until he was like, go home. And I got support that night, ended up on the first plane next day, found my father in Tulsa, Oklahoma, grabbed his arm, and I just looked at him and I said, don't you leave the room. I really did. I went off on him. And one eye opened a little bit and then it closed. And I took him home and gave him back. I gave him back to his family. No, but we all got out and we went back to his house. That sounded weird. I gave him back to his family. But I was there with his family that I didn't even know. And I took him home back to his family. He stayed alive for almost a year. And I know why he stayed alive, and so the doctors know why. I got to know my father very, very well. And then he passed away on my birthday, which is one of the greatest gifts ever. And he handed me his Bible, and his Bible his death date, my birthday. And it's come out in 2 weeks. So when it's my birthday, it's a wonderful celebration for me. So changing careers, reconnecting with the relationship with my father, and had no idea any of this would happen after a class like this. And that's why I know that it's important for people who ask you, because they've got results, they've got events like this that are not uncommon at all. And did anybody make me do any of that? No. Did anybody tell me to go do any of that? Nope. All I did was sit in a class and just do the class. And I thought different. I looked at how I think. I looked at my patterns. I looked at my behaviors. I looked at my beliefs. I just got to look at me like I've never looked at myself before. And none of it was wrong. And I love that. None of it was, well, why'd you do that? You should. None of that. I just got to look at myself like I've never looked at myself before and decided to make some changes. And then all of a sudden, Sunday night, I made a decision that I would do this work for the rest of my life. And that's what brings me here. And I will do this. I'm doing this in many different arenas right now. I just love this work. For a human being to find out what it is that holds them back from doing what they really want to do, I think is the most important work on it. I don't know if there's anything greater than that. I know there wasn't for me. To be able to have a relationship long lasting. I'm 55 years old. I have a 23-year-old daughter. I have a 2-year-old son, and I got a 2-month-old son. I'm 55 years old. And I just crazy. What am I doing having a kid at 55 years old? Because it's one of the greatest things I ever did. And I'm a really good father. And I didn't have a father. But through this work, I've become a very, very good father. Become very good to communicate and how to, and I just, whatever it is that you want. And that's what's beautiful about this work. It's not what anybody else wants for you. It's just, if we were to put it in a simple form, it's whatever you want, and would you like to get there much faster? I mean, like to find my father in one day after not knowing where he was for 24 years and not ever have a relationship with him, I mean, that's just mind-blowing. To change careers and to be able to save money. I didn't have the mentality to save money. Okay, so as we move into this tonight, what I want you to be thinking about is really, what is it you want? What is it, a dream of yours? Do you want to write a book? You know, it may be a dream that you've given up on a ways back, thinking, well, maybe I'm just too old, or maybe it is a relationship. I know through all this work that I do, how many relationships get back together once they come and do this work, how many stay together where they thought maybe it was going to end, and then how many have been created by doing this work. So it really is it relationships? Is it wealth? Is it both? Is it health? Like health is super important to me right now because my son's going to be getting out of high school and I'm going to be 70. And I'm going to be running circles around that little podcast. So health is critical to me right now. And so whatever it is that's important to you, if it's playing music, if it's the arts, if it's being better at school, if it's a deeper relationship with your God, or it doesn't matter. It's whatever it is you want. In short, it's how to get there absolutely much faster in ways that we don't commonly think about. And that's what I want to show you here in just a moment. Okay? So as we go through this, really be thinking about what is it you really, really want. Okay? Now I want to do a quick exercise with you before I do a model that shows you. I'm just going to show you one of the models that we use in the class to give you the idea of what we're doing in the course. But I want to show you something about perception. Okay? One of the things that we're going to look at in the course is the way that we think, right? The way that we see things, our opinions, the way that we really believe things are. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, that a human being is made up of beliefs. Now, let me ask you this. How many people, when you put your toilet paper roll on, how many of you like your toilet paper roll to go off the top, you know, and down the front? How many of you prefer that one? Okay. Okay, how many of you like it actually to go back, behind, and then down the wall? We have some of those. And how many of you will not put it on no matter what? You'll just set it on something. Thank you. See, you have a perception about how you like toilet paper too, okay? We are made up. Our brain is made up of perceptions, meaning the way that you see things really does dictate everything else, okay? And so it's fascinating to come in and to take a look at the way that I saw things. I really believed I was right. You might know what I'm talking about. I really did believe that my father was this, my mom was this, the world was this, women were this, men were this, money was this. I pretty much got it figured out. So if you want to play, go ahead, because it's kind of tricky if you want to do it. In a moment, when I have you just point to the ceiling. And then if you will, I got to stay in camera, but there's nothing really, oh, I guess a light. So you want to point up at something, you know, like even like a divot in the ceiling or something. In a moment, not yet. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So you'll point to something, and then I want you doing this at home. Point to the ceiling. Okay. Point to the ceiling, and then I want you to keep looking up, but then you're going to turn your hand in a circle. And then the circle I'm asking you to do is start going counterclockwise. Just go counterclockwise, and you don't have to go fast. You can go slow. Counterclockwise, and when I say go, then you're just going to keep looking up, but then bring your hand down, still going counterclockwise all the way to right here. But never look down until I tell you to, okay? So if you want to play and see something pretty cool, go ahead. Just stare at something on the ceiling. Find something to point out. Okay, keep focusing on the ceiling, not your hand. Okay, now slowly take your hand and put it in a counterclockwise circle. Okay, so let me check in with you. Are you going counterclockwise? Okay, are you sure? I want you to double check and make sure that you would put money on it that you're going counterclockwise. All right, very good. Now slowly bring it down, but keep looking up. Keep going counterclockwise. Slowly bring it down. Now maybe in front of your face. Keep going. You want to get it down to your stomach area. Keep looking up though. Keep going. Okay, now slowly look down and see what direction you're going. You're going clockwise. And I thought I asked you if you were going counterclockwise. And you said yes, and you would have bet money on it. But the reality is, were you going counterclockwise? No, you are not going counterclockwise. It appears that it's counterclockwise. And as long as you look at it from underneath, it's counterclockwise. If you look at it above and down, it's clockwise. But your hand's doing the same thing. So it all is a perspective. And how many of us think our perspective is so right on and it rules? And to come into a class and to do this for 3 days. See, my relationships really didn't work. They ended between the 6 and 9 month area all the time. And it wasn't me. Well, no, it wasn't. I mean, because my dream is to have a great relationship, and they would end, so it can't be me. Because I'm a good guy, and I really am. I'm a good guy. It never was cheating. It never was anything like that. It just, and they would not stay in a relationship. It wasn't me, though. And I believed that. I believed I was going counterclockwise. I believed it wasn't me because I am a good man. I would never hurt a woman. I would never cheat. I was not like that. Then why don't they work? It had to be. Women are just odd. And to come in one weekend class and realize that it wasn't women at all, it was completely me. But to see what I was doing of why they left, is that powerful? Now you might think, oh my gosh, I bet that hurt. No. I mean, it was like, okay, that hurt. Felt like that. But to now make those shifts that I never would have made before if I didn't see it. And no one could tell me what they are. Does that make sense? No one could tell me you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, because you can't hear that. Right? Have you ever decided to buy a car and you're out looking for the car and you don't know what car to buy and you're shopping and you see one on the car lot or you see one on the street and you go, that's the car I want. You ever had this happen? You're like, that's it? And you see that car the next day everywhere. You ever had that happen? You only focus on certain things. And when someone brings things to your attention that doesn't fit, we don't actually hear it. And no one could have told me that until I came and experienced it myself. Why? Making good money at the end of it all, don't have any. Why do I have a drive to entertain? Why do I have a drive to go buy you anything? Why do I have an entertain to go buy the women I was in a relationship anything they wanted? And we go out, let me pay for the whole check. Let me be, and then at the end, I don't have anything left. And that started at 14 years old. I took a class at 28 years old and could not afford the class. So 14 years of that habit. Where did that start? And eventually I just went, well, I don't know, that's just the way I am. I see other people save money and build money and have their money start making money for them and be able to take nice, lavish vacations. And I'm like, I can't afford it. And when Ron asked me to take this class, I can't afford it. And to have those questions answered and to have so much clarity about them in a weekend was like, I got to do this. I want to do this. And so what I want to show you tonight is this very simple model that we're going to use. And that is that, and I did a cutaway section of it just to save time because the other one is pretty intricate and I don't want to spend the time because for this, we really don't need to. But this is a simple model and it's only part of the model that we're going to use in the basic class to show us what it is of how really a human being operates and where we're really going to put some focus on it in this weekend, starting right now. Let's just start. Hope you have the next 3 days reserved. Okay. Okay, so just like I said a moment ago, really what a human being, really, you've heard this before, that we're made up of beliefs. We're made up of opinions. We're made up of the way that we think. Okay? You think a certain way. And the way that you think about yourself, your opinion of you, do you have a relationship with you? Everybody does. Everybody has a relationship with himself deep inside. You actually could put a number on it if you got really, really honest with yourself. You're with yourself all the time. Okay, now if it's, I don't know if anybody hears it. If it's a lower number, you ever got into a car and put on music a lot? Have you ever done that before? Play music a lot? I used to do that too because that number was pretty low for me, and I never wanted to just be with myself. You remember relate to that? I didn't ever want to be quiet and just be with myself, so I'd listen to music, I'd read books, I'd talk, I'd do anything I can not to have to be with myself, which never drives that number up at all, you know. And so the way that I think about myself, the way that I think about money, the way that I think about men, the way that I think about women, the way that I think about humanity, the way I think about possibilities, the way I think about growing, the way I think about seminars, the way I think about education, the way that a human being thinks automatically dictates the next layer of a human being. And it's a huge layer too. It's this next layer is why we get married. This next layer is why we get divorced. It runs so much, as you might know what layer that is. So a way a human being thinks automatically dictates how we, not yet, one before that. And you can say that in a way, yes. Feel. This is the emotional side of the human being. So you don't ever get angry just for the sake of getting angry. True? You ever walk down the street having a really good day? Ah! Dude, what's happening? I don't know. I'm just really angry. Oh my God, that's so good. You didn't know that's my microphone. I do that. Though. My family does that. But we really actually don't do that, right? We're really consistent. A human being is really consistent, and you can pretty much rely on them, how they're going to feel, because they feel pretty much the same day in and day out. And it's regulated by the way that a human being believes. Whatever their beliefs are will generate a feeling. Your feelings always line up with your beliefs. So have you ever woke up and said, well, I got all these things to do today. Gonna go work out today, gonna go make a lot of money or whatever, and then you go, God, I just don't feel like it. You ever had that happen? An emotion just did what? Kick our butt. I just don't feel like it. I just don't have the drive. Anybody here ever lack from drive? That's an emotion. That's an attitude. It's not that something's wrong. It's not. It's not like you need medication or anything like that. It's not. All it lets you know, and that really is a signal of there's some thought process going on inside that is running. So if you do want to feel different, and I wish I would have learned this in school, because a lot of times when I was in school, I was rebellious and I had attitude. Has anybody ever told you you have attitude? Anybody tell you need to change your attitude, you're never going to make it? Did they ever tell you how to? No, my mom told me all the time, you change your attitude because it's not working. And I would always get so angry when she told me, because I knew she was right, but no one ever told me how to. If I'm frustrated, if I'm tired, if I'm blah, if I'm unfocused, if I'm unmotivated, how do I change that? And believe me, if you're like me, you've probably spent money on a lot of things to get motivated. Some of them legal, some of them might not be, I'm not sure. But to get going, to get driving. I never knew how, if I was off, how to get on. If I have weight goals, or if I have working out goals and I don't feel like doing it and I put it off till later, that doesn't serve me. But how do I get that drive to go do that? How do I get drive to go be with the kids and go do the soccer and do all this and have a business and make love and relationship? That takes a lot of drive. Where does that come from? So if you ever wanted to change how we feel, knowing this model, we'd have to change what? Right there. Because you cannot change this by itself. If you're feeling down right now, you're not going to flip the switch and go, wow, that's much better, man. I feel awesome right now. Just chill. This is good. You don't have that pressure, but you can change this. This runs this, and this runs what? How you feel, your emotions dictate your actions. Absolutely. If your attitude is kind of blah, what action do you normally take? Yeah, chill, do it later, relax. It's always going to be in alignment, which is really, really incredible about how the brain works. It's always in alignment. So the way that we feel dictate our actions. And our actions produce what? Results. It's pretty simple. If I want a different set of results, if I want to have more money in my life, Whether I believe it or not is irrelevant. If I want to have greater relationships, whether I believe it or not, or whether I believe that my husband, my wife, my friends will ever change, if you want a better relationship, you want to have more energy, you want to have better health, if you want anything different, this model will show you the great news. What if this wants to be changed? Where do you got to focus? You don't even have to touch these. That's this one. You change this, these automatically change and guaranteed to produce a different set of results. Okay? Let me show you how they can translate the way we think, translate into results, sometimes favorable, sometimes not. I'm going to have everybody stand up if you don't mind. And then what I'm asking you to do is to find yourself a partner. This will be pretty simple. Just turn and find yourself a partner. If it doesn't match up, you can scoot out a little bit if you need to. Find a partner. If you don't have one and you do want to do it, just raise your hand and then we'll find people that have their hand raised. Okay, come on over here. Can you come over here and be with Margaret? Very cool. Okay, there are two right there. What is it? Okay, now, here's what I'm asking you to do. It's very simple. You're going to curl your fingers on your right hand, unless you're injured, you have something you can use left, but if not, just use your right. You're going to curl your fingers and then have your thumb up like that. Okay, everybody got that? And now with your partner, hook your partner's fingers. Okay? All you people at home, come on, hook the fingers. Okay, so let's do money on this one, okay? We've done relationships heavy. Let's go to money now. Let's make a lot of money here. Okay, so every time you pin your partner's thumb, you make $100. Now you're gonna have to keep track yourself because I'm not gonna be able to keep track. Every time you pin your partner's thumb, you make $100. So let's make a lot of money. Ready? Go! Go, go, go! Make a whole lot of money. Make a whole lot of money. Okay, time. All right, have a seat, please. Okay, so I know that was a really lightweight exercise, but it's actually pretty cool if you think about it. And if you've never done it before, and if you've never seen people around you where you can look and see what's happening, it's pretty interesting why we do what we do. We don't think much about it. We don't have to think much about it. We're given a situation. We don't have to say, okay, how am I going to do this? Because we'd be doing this all day long. We'd drive ourselves crazy. That's why we have programming. That's why we have conditioning. That's why we have that part of us that we learned when we were very young, that when a situation happens, how to handle it. That's what conditioning and programming is. Okay, so there's a couple ways. Let me ask this. If you think you made a lot of money, like you might have caught the record, how much money did you make?
400.
400. 500. Awesome. Awesome. What is it? 3,000.
I have a loan.
Yeah, right? So there's a couple ways to go about this, right? Ready, go. 1. There's another way, which obviously I think most people will figure out if they did it long enough, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How much can you make in a short time? A lot. But that right there would take a what? It would take a different mindset that most people don't operate from. But the most amazing part was not right or wrong, good or bad. It's just that you didn't even have to decide that. True? All I gave you instructions, boom, you already had a way to do it. Because we already have that way how to do really everything. Okay, like say your example, you're at home with your family. And obviously you've got the programming of family and how to be in relationships, constantly going in the subconscious mind of how you show up. All of a sudden, you got to drive someplace. You turn, leave the family, and head toward the car. What does your subconscious mind do? It shifts now to do what? To drive the car. You've already trained it to drive. All you have to do is tell yourself where you're going, and then what happens? You get in the car, and you're off. You have to get in the car and go, okay, how do you start the car? How do you start it? Well, I guess how do you get in it first? You don't have to relearn everything. You get in the car, you give your subconscious brain basically where you're going, and then actually what drives the car. We all know this isn't a big mystery. Your subconscious drives the car. So you can be freed up with your conscious mind to think of different things. So what is actually running what we do is our subconscious part of the mind. What you get to do in the class is to see those parts of us, is it getting us the relationships that we want, or is it actually severing them because of programming and conditioning that we got a long time ago? Is it getting us the money that we want? Is it attracting the people that we want? Are we creating great relationships? Are we happy? Or are we bitter? Are we angry? Are we frustrated? So this course is what I'm so proud of, and to be a part of PSI seminars like no other class does. It goes there to what are the beliefs that run you that are keeping you from having what you want. Because I think, as you well know, that's all it is. And one thing you'll see in the class, it's not other people. It's really not other people keeping you from having what you want. Does that make sense? It's our own. Do you ever have any thoughts like, well, what if I fail? You know, and I don't want to do it in case I fail. Most likely, not a very powerful belief system to have. And so what is it? Not just about seeing them, but how to actually shift those for you to have what you want. It's actually pretty simple. And someone said up front, it's actually fun. Now, we'll say this, it is challenging at the same time. Okay. All right, so let me do this. I just want to spend a couple minutes with you right now. Having a couple people come up. This isn't going to take long because I'm going to time them, and I'll call them too. Okay, can I have the 3 people that decided to share tonight up to the front of the room, please? And as you don't know these people, I know, could you give them a big round of applause, please? Come on up, guys. Oh, yeah. Okay, just really quickly, we can start here and go down. Introduce yourself, your name, and if you'd like to, what you do. You're on.
My name is Maria Duncan, and I'm actually on a break from 2 businesses. I'm taking the year off this last summer.
My name is Kim Stevens, and I am an LPGA teaching instructor in the South Bay.
My name is Glenn Wallace, and I'm a semi-retired executive from the business sector.
Okay. What got you to the basic? Who asked you? And then just what caused you to listen to it and then say yes?
Well, for me, I was introduced to the basic by someone I met at a networking event, someone I didn't even know. However, I was a recent graduate from Stanford Business School, had an MBA, didn't have a job. So I wanted to figure out how to start a business. She said this would be a great way to go. That the basic is a great place for people who want to start businesses.
I was introduced to the basic by my sister and her husband, who had flown to Denver, and they didn't have basics here. I actually went to the first one here in 2001, and I went at a guest event, just like you guys can be over here tonight. And it was one of those things where I was in a place in my life where my relationships were transitioning. I was not happy with my job, and I thought this would be an awesome opportunity for me to open up some doors and see what I can.
I was introduced to the basic by my executive assistant, and she invited me. She went to the basic, and she came back a transformed person. And she invited me to come to the graduation, just like you guys invited me to the graduation. And I came and I saw a person did the wrap up that night, and I just saw something there that I realized would help me in my life and have better relationships and have better things that I wanted in my life. And so I signed up. The rest is a bit history.
Well, let's find out about that history starting here. Because of time's sake, and we don't want to keep you up there a long time with the people here, overall, your results that you're most proud of by you applying to the work, what results do you have in your life?
Well, when I took the basic, I was a broke graduate from the Stanford Business School. Didn't know where I was going to go with that in my life. Within a year, I had a very successful business that I started with my brother, who was also a side grad. It's a great business. We were promoting motivational speakers like Wayne Dyer, who wrote Sky's the Limit. people like that who, and Mark Victor Hansen wrote Chicken Soup for Soul. And I know for a fact none of that would have been possible had I not gone to the basic workshop and applied those tools and techniques in my life every day. However, I'd also say I'm a much better mother as a result. I was a single mom at the time I took the basic. I now have 2 adult kids who've also taken the basic. And I have encouraged them to pursue their goals and their dreams in life. Instead of, I realized that I was living out my parents' dream for myself when I came out of the business school. And this sort of gave me permission to pursue my own goals and dreams. So now as a parent, I do that with my kids as well.
Relationship-wise, I was in the middle of getting a divorce, and I absolutely was best friends with the man that I was getting divorced from, and I really wanted that relationship back. And he went through the basic 11 months after I did, and we are still best friends today. As a matter of fact, they call us like the Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore, and Bruce Willis family whenever we go anywhere. So it was an amazing experience for both of us, and he decided to wait for 11 months to watch what happened to me after my basic seminar. And because I blew up my world, literally changed careers. I was a webmaster, and then I became a golf instructor. And it was my dream. I wanted to teach people. I wanted to be a part of people's lives and help them realize stuff that they could actually golf. You know, I mean, it's like the most difficult sport there is and the most challenging sport, but it's such a mirror to life. And I really wanted to be on that platform with them and just and be like the cheerleader, rah-rah cheerleader. And I'm now in my 15th year of teaching, but really even 3 years ago, I actually touched base with Charlene, and I was struggling because I was working for a corporation, and the corporation was not treating me very well. And she hooked me up with one of her women's leadership seminar graduate friends, and she life coached me and gave me all side power again to bust through that door. And I've now started another successful business. I own Silicon Valley Golf Performance Center, and I do on-site classes at Cisco and Yahoo and Google and all these different crazy places. And that's amazing. And that's it.
He said he would all the time. So results for me have been in 2 main areas. One, from a business standpoint, I ran a very big business with the organization that I was with, and I was pretty good at what I did. I was very task-oriented. We had goals and results and things like that. But the transformation that PSI Seminars has provided to me is in relationships. And my ability to build positive relationships with people and understand what people's motivations are and what helps them be more successful. That information right there and following that information, being aware of that information, allowed us to have the best year we ever had last year at the corporation that I worked for. And it also allowed me to have much improved relationships at home with my wife, the kids. Now I have a personal, close relationship with my kids, where my relationships were previously very superficial, and present. And that's the key thing for me, the contentedness that I feel in my life is the fact that I'm present in the conversations. I'm present with the people that I'm there with every moment. And I have just a phenomenal week with some very close friends, and some of them are out there hopefully watching right now. This experience has been phenomenal for me. I'm going on, I already did Size 7, and I'm going on to do the leadership in July. So.
Okay, last thought would just be simply, why were you willing to come out tonight, given the big paycheck you're getting? Zero. The drive that you took, being away from your family to come here tonight, and why do you recommend this? Why will you stand on the stage, which is really not comfortable, and recommend this work?
Well, first of all, I'm the one that took the workshop 31 years ago. And one of the reasons why I'm here tonight is, it's really cool to be here to sort of see my lineage. I'm born back there, and some of you came through my daughter, so that's going back to me. And someone was willing to share it with me, so I want to share it with all of you. And honestly, like, the basic and the other workshops that I've done through SciWorld have completely changed the trajectory of my life. I mean, honestly, I don't know where I'd be here today. I know for a fact I wouldn't have the business that I started, that I absolutely love promoting motivational speakers. I don't believe I would have the relationships that I have with my family members if we went through the basic and other workshops I've been with Sidewalk. I know for a fact I wouldn't even be able to stand here on the stage with you, because before I took the basic, for me to even say, hi, my name's Maria Duncan, was a stretch. And as a result of going to the basic, I would be up on stage introducing Wayne Dyer in front of 2,000 people. And I know for a fact that was all as a result of this. So what I would say to you is this. When I took it, I was a broke, college graduate, not knowing where I was going to go. I, got after that became, wealthy, nice cars, great relationships. The thing is, though, all of that I would say I would trace back not to my Stanford MBA. I would trace it back to the basics. So for me, this was a much better investment of my time and my money than the 2 years and $100,000 plus getting my MBA. So take that for what it's worth. I mean it very sincerely. This is the place to be if you have a goal of doing that you want to bring to fruition.
And I agree with Maria. When I just even looking at this, I lived in my head. And when I learned how to shift that really into my heart, it's interesting work, even the work that I do with golf. It's like you can sit there and you can think your way through visualizing a shot and picking it or selecting a golf club and things like that. But when you stand over the top of a golf ball, you can't think through a shot. You actually just have to feel it. And this work was just so important for me, and it has helped me create the most amazing relationships. I did the same thing. I think you said I invited like 1 million people, and I actually had 11 go through, and they are my closest support network. They get me through all of my tough times. And believe it or not, you can stand up, you can go through the basic, and you're still going to fall down, and you're still going to go boom. But man, if you've got a person like my friends that I still do that went through this basic seminar, they are there for me. They pick me up. They know exactly what to say to me, and they get me right back on track, and they never let me falter. And it is the most amazing gift that I ever got from coming through this. And anything that, I used to be afraid of so much stuff, so many fear-related things. There's no fear. I just go and I just attack it. And if I find it, it comes up. Pick up the phone. Charlene.
For a woman who used to live in her head.
That's all. All right, wrap it up. So for me, the reason that I would recommend someone go to this class is the graduates that are in this class, and the transformation that they went through in 3 days, and the experience that they went through in understanding themselves and seeing themselves in a totally different light. And every one of them can stand up here and tell you a story and aha moment that they got in that class, and the benefit that they're going to get out of it for the rest of their lives. And I'm looking around some of the people in my groups and what they got out of that. That's why I would recommend this. For me, I went through the basic in March of last year. I had this great experience, and I signed up immediately for size 7. Waited all the way until February of this year to go to size 7, and I went to size 7. I came back because I wanted to give back, and that's just was not me. I was not the kind of person that gave back. And now, I've retired from an organization that I was working for because I want to give back. I want to work in high school. I want to help kids understand how to get their goals, how to be better people, how to know what they want and their passions in life, and really go out and challenge themselves to get those things. That's why it's been so powerful for me. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to all of you for coming tonight and taking the time out and bringing your heart here on the stage, because I know that's not easy to do. And I do want you to know that tonight, even though I'm not going to tell you this, but I hope you do know when you lay down tonight, you really do make a difference. And I know that's why you're here, because you love doing that. So could you please give the 3 of you. Okay, guys, so now it comes into the end, which is action time. I think we all know that really nothing happens without a form of action. And so there's a process that I'd like to have happen here. If you're open to it, and that would be very simply when I'm done, that the guests that are here tonight to actually have a conversation with the person who asked you. You might have had one already, but I am going to ask that as the guest, you listen for a moment. And what I'm going to ask that you listen to is, why did the person ask you tonight? Why do they want you to go? Because maybe they haven't told you yet. Maybe it's uncomfortable to. Maybe it's a risk for them because we don't want to hear no. I know that when something means a lot, we don't want to hear no. And so to not hear no, we might even talk about it. But I am going to ask that conversation happen, because the reality is the reason you're here is not just to see me and not just to see all these people. The reason you're asked to be here tonight was for you to attend basic course. And I know that they maybe told you that, maybe not. But I'm going to ask that you actually listen of why they want you to take the basic. And what I'm going to ask with hope is that you listen from your heart, because there is a reason that they want you to go. And so I'm going to ask the graduate who asked the guest to sit and to tell them from the heart, why do you want them to take the class? And then the registration period is open. The tables are on the left side. Okay? Now, the tuition for the class is $595. Okay? So what that covers is the 3 days of the course, which very simply is the timelines are 10 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. Now, I do want to say something about Saturday night. If you choose to do this class Saturday night, knowing that the class ends at 8 o'clock, I would give yourself a little bit of time after 8 o'clock to do an exercise that's going to be requested of you outside the room. I know it's an event that I changed a lot in my life because of that event. And you'll want to have the time to do that. And then also on Sunday night, give yourself a little bit of time after 8 o'clock, not because we're doing an exercise, because there's stuff going to be going on and you won't want to leave right at 8. So if you give yourself a little bit more time, that would be great. And then also the Wednesday of that class is also a night like this where you can bring anybody. Okay? And the next basic course that's here in San Francisco is
June 5th.
June.
And we have all the dates for the
Yeah, they have all of those for the year. So the tuition is $595. Once Sunday happens, if you feel that you didn't get the value, you didn't get the value of what somebody here told you, what you heard, what you thought you would get, it didn't meet your expectation, all you have to do is send PSI Seminars a letter saying that you would like to refund, and then they will give you a refund. Okay, there's not going to be questions asked. There will be a $50 processing fee that they hang on to. Everything else will be given back to you. They don't need explanation. They just request that you'd like to run back and they'll give it back to you. But that's not what it's about. Okay. So for those of you who registered tonight, we always like to acknowledge action, because I know without action, nothing happens. So those people that do listen tonight and hear it down here and go back and get yourself a seat, we're going to take the class down from $595 to $495 tonight. And that is for the people that registered tonight. Now, for the people that are in all the homes all over, there is on your screen, there is a site. I mean, there's an address that if you go there, there's a coupon that will get you to class for $495. And that's how you'll do it. Everybody else here is over at the tables. So in just closing, I just want to say the same thing that Ron asked me, and that was, what do you want? You know, what is it that's important to you? And if there's something that's important to you that you want it done faster. If Jeannie was here right now and said, your wish is my command, what would it be? And if you have wishes, you have wants, you have dreams, you have hopes, I'm going to ask that you take a risk with the person who asked you. And prove that by getting up at the end and registering for class. And I possibly will see you there. I don't know. They never tell us until days before. But I will be back. So the tables are now open. Meet with the people. Talk to them. If there's anything I can do, come up. If there's anybody else here can do, get your questions answered so that you get your registration done tonight. So with that, the tables are now open. I open up for conversations. Please have a great conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.